Friends, I am Kanchan from Akulmek Technologies and you are welcome to our series, The Great Kings of India. And today we will be discussing one of the fascinating king of India, Ashoka. Now, I always been mesmerized by this personality because at one phase of his life, he is tyrant, he is killing people. And in the other phase of life, he's non-violent, he has accepted Buddhism. And what I feel is that he is responsible for propagating Buddhism in India and all Indian subcontinent. He is the basic reason why Buddhism survived for so long. And the impact of his era is so much that even today we have accepted our national emblem from his era. So we'll be discussing more about this fascinating king. And to discuss about this king, it is a pleasure to tell you that I'm joined by Dr. Meeta Joshi, who is head of the Department of History in one of the prestigious college, St. Anne's College of Women in Hyderabad. She is teaching, she is giving all knowledge and traditional know-how of ancient India. A part of this, she has her work is being published internationally and nationally. So without wasting any time, I would like to introduce you to Meeta Joshi. Madam, welcome to the show, The Great Kings of India. How are you doing today?
Namaskar, Kanchan. I am fine. How are you?
I am fine. Things are moving great. We are still in COVID era, but then life goes on. So we are also coping up with the times. But today we are discussing, we have an opportunity to discuss one of the great king India ever had, the great Ashoka. So I would like our viewers will also like to listen from you about our king.
Before I start talking about Ashoka, I should tell you that he was known as Ashoka the Great, okay? And he was one of the greatest emperors of Maurya dynasty, and he happened to be the grandson of Chandragupta Maurya. Chandragupta Maurya himself was a very great king, but why Ashoka became great was because of his deeds. Previously, a very, very brutal and tyrant emperor, Ashoka got transformed by one incident which changed his life altogether. And that incident was the War of Kalinga, which he fought and won. But after this war, the very next day, when he went into the battlefield, when he saw the battlefield, he was too disappointed that what he has done. And that moment, he saw all the houses burned. He saw many dead corpses lying here and there. And it was a very, very depressing and disturbing sight. After going to the war field, Ashoka was in total, depression sort of state. And see, destiny is such that in his time period only Lord Buddha was there. And when he came to know about Lord Buddha, he went and met Lord Buddha. After his meeting, when he spoke to Buddha, his mind, heart and soul totally changed. And he promised Buddha that he won't wage any war from now on. And he accepted Buddhism as his religion. Now here a twist comes, because an emperor he was a very good administrator. Now with his religion, changed, the perspective changed altogether. After accepting Buddhism, he was, first of all, what he did, he appointed some officers only to propagate Buddhism in his empire and outside the empire, and they were known as Dharma Mahamatras. Okay, they used to travel from place to place to make people aware of Buddhism. Now, the beauty of Buddhism is such a religion which teaches you only love, which teaches you compassion, which teaches you non-violence, and which even teaches you to analyze yourself. So, Buddha wanted that anyone who is in his empire should know about this great, philosophy of Gautam Buddha and get benefited by it. After a point of time, he even his son and daughter, they also became the Dharma Mahamatras and they traveled propagate Buddhism. After adopting Buddhism, Ashoka was a changed man because he adopted the theory of non-violence. Now, with such a huge empire, the extent of empire was so huge because Mauryan empire at the time of Ashoka was the largest empire probably uh, if you see the Deccan, Satvahana Empire was the second largest, Mauryan Empire was the largest. So, managing such a vast empire, but now he had a vision after adopting Buddhism. He developed that vision. All the principles of administrative policies which he had, he changed them. And what he told people that everybody should live in harmony. If anyone in his empire had any problem, they were allowed to meet the emperor, directly, and Ashoka would listen to them and solve their queries. So he came to such a level. He came to the ground level after, adopting Buddhism. Personally, also, a lot of transformation happened in Ashoka. He spent lot of money in building stupas, viharas, chaityas for the Buddhist monks. He even financed their councils. Councils means there were meetings of Buddhist monks in which they discussed about the principles of Buddhism. So he also financed that, and the major development of stupas, chaityas, and viharas happened in the time of Ashoka because he wanted that people should adopt it in their lives and take the goodness of the religion. That was his main aim. He wanted to spread peace, he wanted to spread compassion, he wanted to spread love through this act of spreading Buddhism. So this is one thing. Another thing, the rock edicts which we get from the time of Ashoka, they also mention this, that he did a commendable work in spreading Buddhism, not only in India, but to the foreign countries also. As I told you, his daughter Sangamitra, she traveled to Sri Lanka on the orders of his father because they all adopted Buddhism. And she also traveled to Sri Lanka to propagate Buddhism, which was a good thing because they were spreading the good things about Buddhism, and people were adopting it, and somehow people's lives got transformed after it.
Yeah,
So
but
this
I also feel that in spite of accepting Buddhism, in spite of practicing non-violence and not killing animals and planting uh, uh, trees around and facilitating traders to have economic development in that particular area, he also maintained a huge amount of army so that around all the yes around around his boundary nobody should think that he is a weak king since he has accepted Buddhism and since he has said that he will not fight anymore. So I think, but he still maintained that army. So
yes,
what do you
he did.
think about this
He did.
aspect?
Yes, he did. He did maintain his army. It was not for a war purpose. It was to guard the extent of the empire. See, earlier, army people were used, suppose you have some, some little civil war type of a thing, or some outbreak or some disturbances, so they can go and monitor the things. So for that purpose, after the Kalinga war, it was this motive, not to wage a war, kill people, or spread the extent of the empire through the wars. Totally his
Yeah, and then of course safeguarding the boundaries. I think that is also one of the main purpose of Ashoka.
Yes, because he wanted that the people who are in his empire should be protected. They should live a peaceful and a life, and they should not have this fear that any invader will come from outside and disturb them, because India has a history of invasions. Lot of invasions happened. So he wanted that his empire should be protected. That was his main motive.
So I always fascinated by the transformation of one person, as we were discussing earlier before this recording, that 1 minute can change the personality of a person. I think that
one moment, Kanchan, one moment.
Yes.
One incident, one person tells you a positive thing, or you see something. It requires a fraction of a second to transform you, and that transformation is always for better. See, if you not we are discussing about Ashoka, but there are many incidents in history. Valmiki, you see Rishi Valmiki, he was a dacoit, and one incident transformed him, and he wrote that Valmiki Ramayana. Angulimal, there are many incidents in which people got transformed totally. So same thing happened with Ashoka.
Yeah, I also feel that he raised a war and he consolidated his empire even after accepting Buddhism, even after taking vows that he will not fight any war to extend the boundaries, just to safeguard his empire, which was I think is a work of a king, to safeguard people and the boundary of the country. But I think his aura was that profound that nobody from external forces, even that point of time, thought of attacking his empire.
First of all, everybody was, they were in a state of confusion. That to a king who was so, after conquests, after killing people, after waging wars, that what happened to this man? So people were in a state of confusion. The neighboring countries, they were like, because see, Ashoka's empire was till Afghanistan. His boundaries, apart from India, they went up to Afghanistan. So people were wondering that what happened to this man, how he got transformed. And after he came to, after this transformation, some people visited also to know about his, know-how, that his state of mind, that what happened to him. But when he met, then they could make out that he's a totally different person now. And it was and see, this happened only because of his own personal anguish. Please try to understand this. It was, when we do something wrong, then it is that guilty feeling which kills you. So to overcome that, maybe he went to Buddha. He went to Buddha to seek some peace, because he was having a struggle in his, mind, that whatever he did was wrong. He understood that. See, he cannot undo. He was not able to undo what he did, because whatever is done cannot be undone at any point of time. But what he thought was, from now onwards, if I change my perception, then so many people who have lost their husbands, they lost their families, at least this thing will not continue further. So that was a good thought.
Yes, yes. So
That was a good thought, and for that only, like, he worked and worked.
yes, so I think the Kalinga was a turning point in the life of Ashoka.
Definitely, War of Kalinga was the turning point.
Yes, and then I
It was.
think, yeah, though I feel he's such a great personality that he handled the Raj Dharma plus his personal anguish and plus propagating the goodness of Buddhism to the people. Because somewhere I read that he has engraved stones and put to places, and it's written that you should do this and you should not do this, and so that and day and night people read those sermons and embrace them.
Kanchan, he gave his own theory, which is known as Ashoka's Dhamma. In Pali language, dharma is pronounced as Dhamma, Dhamma. So through his Dhamma, what he took the ideologies and principles of Buddhism. He propagated that in his own way. He propagated that in his own way. It was not as it is what he got from Buddha or Buddhism. He
Right.
propagated in his own unique way. And if you happen to if you are interested in reading, there are several books on Ashoka's Dhamma, Kanchan. You can go through them. Then you will see the vastness of his ideologies, his principles, that how then he was not only a king, he became a thinker. You know, his horizon was broadened. After, see, why religion is required in life? Because it makes you a better person. It makes you wiser a person. Any religion for that matter, not only Buddhism, any religion. Why we follow a religion? Because we get a certain set of principles from them, which are beneficial for our own life, for the people who are around us, and for the society.
Yeah,
So for that sake,
I just want to add that I think when you're talking about religion, I think religion also a factor which pacify some badness in individual. So it subsides something bad which you really think. What do you think about this? So this exactly
not
happened to Ashoka also.
see, uh, religion will not pacify Kanchan. Religion, see, if you see all the religions, whether it is Buddhism, whether it is Christianity, whether it is Islam, whether it is Hinduism, Sikhism, some religions, they say, they they instill a feeling of fear in you. Why we say God fearing? Because you have that fear in your mind that if we do this, this is a sin, this is a bad thing. So personally, what I feel is religion should not uh, instill a feeling of guilt inside a person. Rather, it should have the power to transform that person. It is a human nature to err. It is a human nature. नहीं तो everybody will become a god.
Right.
If we don't err.
But I think,
सभी देवता हो जाएंगे.
but I
So
think this doesn't happen with Ashoka. He very consciously followed Buddhism and
yes,
very consciously, I think, merged two things: the Buddhism and the Raj Dharma or the royal duties.
yes, he took it parallelly. It was parallelly. The Ashoka's Dhamma, the administration, they were going like hand in hand. It was not like that he became a saint. No, he lived a normal family life, but with a transformed vision. With a transformed vision. But some historians, like A.L. Basham, they don't agree with this transformation. They say that this transformation was not real. So, see, different people, different perspectives. We should always see the goodness, that what is the positivity we can take from it. So from Ashoka's character, you can take the number one trait is adaptability, because he adapted to a positive side of his character.
Yeah, I think
Earlier,
transformation of one personality.
yes,
But
yes,
I always see like this only.
yeah. So that is the biggest trait, and then to accept. See, if uh, in this word, the whole tussle or war is for acceptance. Everyone wants to be accepted, Kanchan. Everyone. That is our whole, fight in this human birth.
Right.
We want to be accepted as a, daughter, as a wife, as a mother, as a teacher. Acceptance. Everyone craves for that acceptance. So he accepted that he did something wrong. That is the a wise quality in Ashoka. Otherwise, see, all it is a natural thing that many kings, they have waged wars in the pages of history, but no one got transformed as Ashoka have transformed. So that is his greatness. That's why we call him Ashoka the Great. This the Great comes with Ashoka or Akbar the Great. Only two people have this, suffix with them, with their names. Ashoka the Great, Akbar the Great. Why Akbar was also called great? Because he was tolerant towards the other religion. Though he was a Muslim, he followed Islam, but he promulgated a new religion known as Deen-e-Ilahi, which was the fusion of Islam and Hinduism. So when you do such things, see, we, Kanchan, as human beings, we don't take anything from with us when we leave this world physically. Only thing which we leave is a living legacy. So Ashoka did the same, Akbar did the same. They left a legacy.
Yes.
They left, and the contribution of Ashoka in the field of art and architecture is huge. It's immense. All the stupas, the chaityas, the viharas, and the rock edicts which you get. The inscriptions. They are the records now, from which we can refer to and tell the future generations that what happened. So that is his biggest contribution, apart from all other things.
Yes, I always appreciate Ashoka because the impact, I always see impact, his era's impact even today. Because we have a few systems which he has created, the economic aspect which he has created at that point of time, which we are still following in few patterns. So we will be
because see, Mauryan administration was very, very good. Mauryan administration, for that matter, was very, very good. And it was adopted by the later dynasties. After the Mauryans also, the dynasties which they came, they also took that model. They carried forward that model. So it is not only the philosophical aspect, but in all aspects, economic, administrative, in every field, you can see Ashoka as a role model. Not only in one aspect, in many aspects. And the emblem, the national emblem which we have, is from one of his rock edicts.
Right.
So that is again that means you are giving acceptance, you are giving recognition to that king by making it a national emblem. So it's a big thing. It's a very, very big thing.
Yes, it's a big thing. I think Ashoka has given us, our civilization, a kind of remembrance. We are known as people from the Ashoka's land. So I think that's a great thing. Today we have discussed about an overview about Ashoka and how he has transformed, and how Buddhism he has adopted, and he is responsible for propagating Buddhism in Indian subcontinent. So in our next episode, we'll be discussing about administration, the good points of administration, which somehow in little format we are still following those traits.
Definitely.
So it was so nice to talk to you about Ashoka and discuss about our great king, the great Ashoka. We will be discussing this topic further. So till then, bye bye, take care, and all the best.
Thank you, Kanchan.